love all his monkey shines. Every day is. Everybody knows it. I love pouring down and the sky is all black and the coffee is cold in your cup.
Annette Funicello is one of the most beloved stars Disney has ever had. From a talented little girl on the Mickey Mouse Club to the image of the beach queen of the 60s, she has left a deep impression on the public. However, behind the halo are her little-known stories about sacrifice, illness, and memorable moments in her life. In today's video, we will take you to admire rare photos discovered, untold stories. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your own comments to help us make the videos you feel most satisfied with. Annette never thought she would become a star. As a quiet girl, she studied music and dance according to her parents' wishes to become more open. However, her fate changed when she was 12 years old. During a performance in Burbank, California, Annette made a strong impression when she transformed into a swan queen. Sitting in the audience that day was Walt Disney, who was looking for the final member for the Mickey Mouse Club program. Immediately after the performance, Walt Disney contacted Annette's family and offered her a 7-year contract with a salary of $160 per week, a significant amount at that time. Notably, Annette was the only member personally selected by Walt Disney himself. With her talent and special guidance, she quickly won the hearts of the audience and became a bright face in the Disney universe. However, her life was not always brilliant. While working at Disney, Annette had her first love with co-star Alani Bird. Although the relationship didn't last, it was her first taste of heartbreak and sadness after a breakup. After the first season of Mickey Mouse Club, Annette's career took off. She became a favorite cast member, receiving more fan mail than anyone else. In addition to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, she appeared in shows like Adventures in Dairyland, Spin and Marty, and starred as Anita Cababrio in the Zorro series. But not everything was smooth sailing. Annette realized that her salary was not commensurate with her fame and contributions. When she signed a new contract for $325 a week, she did not have a lawyer to represent her, which made her unhappy. She decided to sue Disney for benefits, but the court rejected her request, forcing her to continue with her old contract, leaving her frustrated and feeling trapped by a system she once trusted. From that point on, Annette Funicello's relationship with Disney began to unravel. Despite their disagreements, she maintained a close relationship with Walt Disney. It was he who advised her not to change her stage name to Annette Turner for fear that the public would quickly forget her. He also reminded her to always maintain her image, especially to avoid showing her navel in beach movies, which was considered sensitive at the time. After her contract with Disney ended, Annette moved to work with American International Pictures and quickly became a star of the studio. She and Frankie Avalon formed the most popular couple on screen in the 60s. Their first film, Beach Party, 1963, immediately became a box office phenomenon, paving the way for a series of films in the same genre that followed. This success brought Annette a 7-year contract, helping her to affirm her deep position in the hearts of audiences. However, despite her brilliant career, Annette could not avoid difficult turns. As the beach movie craze began to wane, she faced a crucial choice: continue to take roles in low-budget films or devote time to her family. In the end, Annette chose the latter, and that meant she gradually withdrew from the limelight. Over time, the public began to forget her image. It may have been a big sacrifice in her career, but Annette has never regretted her choice. In her personal life, her first relationship with director Jack L. Gilardi led to marriage in 1965. They were together for 16 years and had 3 children, Gina Portman, Jack Jr., and Jason. However, like many couples in the entertainment industry, the happiness did not last. In 1981, Annette filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Although she never publicly shared the real reason for her first marriage's breakdown, many believe that the pressure of her career affected her relationship. After her first marriage ended, she found new love with Glenn D. Holt, a non-celebrity but professional horse breeder. They married in 1986 and lived happily together for 26 years. Although they had no children together, their love remained strong until Annette's death in 2013. Unfortunately, Annette did not have much time to enjoy the loving life she sacrificed her career for. However, she always felt grateful that at least she avoided the scandalous relationships that are common in the entertainment industry. Before her death, Annette also faced many accidents that almost took her life. One of the most terrifying events occurred in March 2011 when her Los Angeles home suddenly caught fire while her family was sleeping. The fire was so intense that firefighters had to intervene urgently. Annette suffered a large amount of smoke inhalation, but fortunately was not seriously injured and was taken to the hospital for examination. After this incident, she and her husband decided to leave the city and move to a small farm in Southern California, which they had purchased decades earlier. It was here that Annette lived out her final years in peace. In addition to her film career, Annette almost became part of a major project called Disney's World of Oz. Initially, Walt Disney wanted to adapt a series of books by L. Frank Baum into a film, with the intention of giving Annette the role of Princess Ozma and Darlene Gillespie the role of Dorothy. However, another studio acquired the rights before Disney could begin production. Despite trying to regain the rights, Disney eventually gave up and focused on Babes in Toyland, a film that would later become Annette's favorite work of her career. Not only did she succeed on screen, Annette also unexpectedly stepped into the music industry thanks to the love of her fans. It all started when she performed the song How Will I Know on television, a performance that delighted the audience and sent her a series of letters asking her to release the official recording. The huge interest in Annette's voice led Disney to release the song as an official single. With the positive response from the public, Disney began to shape Annette as a real singer. She collaborated with the Sherman Brothers to record many songs, the most notable of which was Tall Paul, her biggest hit, reaching number 7 on the charts in 1959. This success not only affirmed Annette's musical talent, but also marked an important milestone in the history of rock and roll. It was the first single by a female singer to reach the top 10 of the US music charts. However, despite her quite successful music career, Annette never really enjoyed the job. In an interview, she frankly admitted that she hated the recording process, having to sing the same song over and over again, combined with the artificial reverb effects, made her feel constrained and uncomfortable. When her acting career fizzled out, she turned to music as an alternative, but this return was not as successful as she had hoped. In 1989, she reunited with Frankie Avalon for a 60s hit revival tour. Sadly, this was also the time when Annette began to show symptoms of the serious illness that would follow her for the rest of her life. When she was young, Annette had a sweet but stormy love affair with musician Paul Anka. They both wanted to keep it a secret to protect their privacy, but this love was suddenly made public when Paul Anka wrote the song Puppy Love inspired by Annette herself. At that time, she was only 17 years old, facing the wide open door of her career, and understood that she needed to focus on the road ahead. She was forced to make a choice, and in the end, her career was still the top priority. But the biggest challenge in Annette's life was not the spotlight or the unfinished love affairs, but the fight against the terrible disease. In the late 1980s, she received a diagnosis that completely changed her life. Instead of giving up, Annette chose to face it with extraordinary optimism. She founded a charity to support people in the same situation, persistently cooperating with doctors in researching treatment methods. She initially kept her health condition a secret, but as her mobility became increasingly difficult and rumors spread, Annette decided to go public with her illness in 1992 to avoid misunderstandings. Despite the disease gradually destroying her body, Annette still fought bravely. She cherished every moment with her family, living each day to the fullest. Her husband Glenn Holt was always by her side, never losing hope, even though he knew that the chance of recovery was very slim. Throughout that painful journey, Annette was not only a talented icon but also a model of resilience and kindness, inspiring many people. Before her death, a video recording Annette trying to communicate and move went viral. Although her body was no longer the same, many people believed that her spirit was still completely conscious. The video touched the hearts of millions of fans, receiving support and sympathy from all over the world. After more than 2 decades of fighting persistently, Annette Funicello passed away in April 2013 at the age of 70. Her passing left endless sorrow in the hearts of her family, friends, and fans. But above all, she left behind a priceless legacy, the image of a talented actress, a woman who never gave up in the face of adversity. Annette Funicello is not only a Disney icon, but also an inspiration for many generations to come. Her strong spirit and kindness will forever serve as a shining example, reminding us that, no matter how challenging life may be, we can still face it with optimism and extraordinary will.